why I don't watch true crime. So I'm watching The Crash on Netflix. I'm about 10 minutes into the documentary already. And as I'm watching, I started to hear Dominic and Davion come through a little bit. And I thought I would type out what I've been hearing. For those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Aaron, I'm a medium. I type is my way how I channel messages from spirit. So if you see mediums who scribble or write things down, for me I like to type. It helps me get it clear as day, what I hear verbatim on my left hand side. So first I have from Dominic. I have, she wanted it all. She wanted the money, a car, a mansion, fame, maybe some power. She wanted to bankroll on her popularity and didn't know how else to get attention. I guess it was this way. There's a lot that they didn't share or know about our relationship. What breaks my heart the most is how much I truly loved her, and that she lied through her teeth and into my eyes about what those things that she was doing. I didn't understand the gravity of her control. I thought I was her one and only, but I was so very wrong. I found it all on her phone. She had secret folders of videos she was sending. I didn't know what she was doing all the time to make all of that money. Her parents thought they raised a superstar and that she was making big moves, pulling in money from her content. Only her mom knew she was showing more skin for fame and funds, though, so it's difficult to talk about in this way because she was perceived as such an innocent girl. I just want everyone to see who she really is. And that is 10 minutes in on The Crash. I do have a small message here from Davion as well. Maybe, let me see. Davion, I have, man, I shouldn't be here. I screamed like hell when I saw myself in that car. I knew I was done. I knew we weren't coming back, and I screamed and cried from my mom, my sisters, and my brothers. They didn't deserve my passing to be this massive. They didn't deserve my passing at all. We were all drinking and they were arguing. Unfortunately, I was caught in the crossfire of this bullshit and should still be alive. I wanted more for my life, and it's not fair that Mackenzie did this to us. We should still be at home living our lives and aspirations. It's all not fair. So that's why I don't watch true crime. When I watch true crime documentaries, I always connect to spirit, and sometimes it just gets so overwhelming emotionally, mentally, and it usually calls in the loved one to be able to connect. I only usually listen, but something in me told me to type, so I thought I would share it all with you here. For part 2, I will be continuing to watch this documentary. We'll see what happens. Thank you. So, I'm now 30 minutes in to this documentary. It's a lot. It's a lot to take on, all at once, especially, trying to watch it and listen, and then I keep hearing chatter on my left. It's a lot of energy. I have another channel typed out here, and then my third video, I'll make just a full breakdown of the whole documentary. So this is part 2. I have Davion and Dominic coming through. So first, how I channel is by typing. So I listen on the left-hand side and I type everything I hear verbatim from spirit. So this part is Davion. Our energy has been pulled in so many different directions and ways, it feels exhausting. We just want to be with our families and hope our parents can just find in their hearts peace, knowing we are okay. It all happened so quickly without a second thought. My sisters still need me. My brothers I made throughout my life. They all lost brothers. Next is from Dom. Yeah, all I remember is Mackenzie telling us we are all going to pass then, and that I did this to us. Like Davion said, it's not fair. And then again, I have Davion. I kept screaming at her saying, what did you do? What did you effing do? And then I have Dom playing with fucking fire. Playing with fire. Giving her everything, and that didn't stop her where I couldn't get away. I didn't know the lengths she would go to try and get this kind of notoriety or fame or whatever she was seeking. Something in her snapped when she realized she could get anything she wanted by being online. And then from Davion, I should have listened. I was just young and dumb and doing what I thought was for me. I didn't want to listen to my parents either, but deep down, my dad, I should have listened. And then he says, I'm sorry, Dad, I'm sorry. And then Dom says, bro, Rosie, she was always so chill. She was, and it's still, she was and is still scared. She didn't know. She really saw how Kenzie treated me. The night was chill, but it changed in the car. You knew Kenzie was getting more and more wild and jealous. Dom or Davion, I couldn't really hear. I tried to reach for the emergency brake. Kenzie was yelling at Dom and saying, you did this. That's when she said we were all going to pass away then. My first thought was my sisters, my mom, my dad, all of my brothers. I realized the mistakes that led up to this point in my life that I was trying to turn around. I'm 90%, I think that was more Dom that was coming through. They kept overlapping with their energy when I was trying to listen to that last part there. Overall, still very, very heavy energy, very tired, in the way of like, I feel like it might be like how their energy is just pulled in all of these different directions, when also trying to like put energy on damage control while still taking care of their parents and siblings and relatives and everyone involved in this tragedy here. It's really interesting to hear them and their words that come through. Thank you for listening. The next video will just be a full breakdown, so thank you. So all I have to say is that bitch is crazy. There's a lot of thoughts. There's a lot with this documentary that I understand how everyone has been very compelled to talk about it and obsessed with it. So here's my full breakdown. So watching this documentary as a psychic medium, it's honestly affected me in a completely different way, emotionally and spiritually. And even before I start this video, I want to say this really respectfully, because real people lost their lives. Dominic and Davion were not just part of this headline of the crash. They were human beings with families, loved ones, their souls, energy, dreams, futures, and people who were deeply affected and deeply loved them. But spiritually, this documentary is very, very heavy. The first thing that I noticed watching was how emotional energy leading up to the crash in itself. And as a medium, I always say that energy speaks before actions do. As sometimes before tragedy happens, there's emotional chaos building underneath everything going on that we don't fully understand or we don't fully see. And so what was going on between Kenzie and Dominic during this time, we might not fully know the full scope of it. And while this documentary is very heavy, I kept feeling like a lot of emotional instability, emotional impulsivity, a lot of pressure, confrontation, confusion, and there is like a very big overwhelming feeling of surprisingly disconnection, almost like everyone involved was emotionally spiraling, but in their own different ways. And then that's before everything like physically changed forever in that sense. And that part is scary spiritually, because sometimes people think tragedy happens in one singular moment, but energetically it is going to be building for weeks, months, years, before that big final cataclysm event happens. So when I tuned into Dominic's energy while I was watching this documentary, what surprised me is that I did not feel an overwhelming sense of anger as the strongest emotion. I actually felt like a really strong protective nature of him, and I know that may sound strange to some people who were watching this as well, but spiritually the energy felt very aware of the pain of his loved ones, that they're all still carrying. It almost felt like he wanted people to understand that behind all of this was a real human being that mattered deeply to people, and even through struggle, he was just trying to make a better life for himself and the future that he wanted to have. His energy also felt a little bit quieter in some moments than I really expected. There was no hateful or chaotic, just like a really deep sense of emotional energy. And I kept getting like this feeling of someone saying like, with Dominic's energy, just please stop turning this into entertainment and remember that we are really people. And that's why I want these messages to get out in this way. And that might hit hard for some people while they're watching, that they really just want that their human lives aren't just a part of the media aspect or the film aspect, or documentary aspect either. But then there was also Davion's energy too, and this part was like really emotional for me to connect with him, and that's what I would say has been staying with me the most as I sit through this and talk with you guys about this documentary, because spiritually his energy felt a lot softer, but also very present, very warm, very welcoming, and just very like gentle, and almost just like his spirit was pushing this feeling of like I'm not just the third friend in this moment, and that there really is like a do not forget me kind of feeling. And I kept hearing over and over, like, don't forget me, don't forget me. And so I really want to make that part of those other two videos of the transcript really apparent that Davion was coming through very strongly. And I think sometimes when documentaries happen, certain people and stories emotionally overpower others publicly. And so Spirit was making me really feel like Davion's presence still deserves space, remembrance, and acknowledgement as well. And that part made me emotional, because when you work in mediumship and you start to realize that Spirit does not care about headlines in the same way that we as people, especially chronically online, that Spirit cares about love, memory, healing, and the impact that they really left behind physically with their families and their loved ones still here. And honestly, this documentary is not just about crime to me either. It wasn't fully a crime documentary that I was super curious about. I really stay away from crime docs and missing person cases and things. But I really was intrigued with this one. And it is about like emotional darkness, unresolved pain, emotional impulsivity, about how people can really silently struggle mentally, emotionally, while still appearing normal to everybody around them. And there might be some cracks underneath the surface there that might be really interesting to dive deeper into. And what I felt spiritually loud to me while watching this, and the one thing that I really want to say carefully, in this case spiritually, it really doesn't feel fully settled yet. Not because I feel that Spirit is trapped or anything dramatic in that way. And I fully don't believe in that aspect either. But it feels like one of those cases where the living are still really desperately trying to understand the why, and like the why did this happen, and that's a really big thing when it comes to passings like this, and unfortunately with the why, It's gonna probably carry on a little bit longer too. Um, yeah. But all in all, the energy feels really incredibly active around this case still. And I think that's why so many people become emotionally attached to this documentary already. Because deep down, people are searching for understanding and closure and meaning in something that feels impossible to really fully make sense of. At the end of the day, though, I do want to express my deepest condolences, and my heart goes out to the family and everyone involved, because spiritually, the grief connected to this situation feels really immense and enormous, and growing day by day, especially with how big it's getting worldwide with the documentary that just was recently released. And I think that the biggest lesson spiritually, like from documentaries like this, is realizing the emotional pain and emotional instability can become incredibly dangerous when left unaddressed. And please remember to be kind in the comments, because they were real people with real families and real lives that have been forever changed by the actions taken by Mackenzie Shirilla. So that's pretty much this whole breakdown. And again, my condolences to the family during this difficult time. I can't imagine the pressure that you all must feel under the scope of being in the public eye while trying to grieve and trying to heal. But again, my condolences to you. Thank you for watching. So, with what happened in the car with Kenzie, Davion, and Dominic, when I was able to channel and listen to them in spirit, they did channel me through sight. So they took me to the time and place as I was watching the documentary as well too. But what happened in the car, allegedly, there was more verbal altercation between Kenzie and Dominic, where they were arguing, and this was all as well premeditated. It had to do with there was either money that he lent her that she promised to pay him back with. I believe they were selling together and doing other things. And unfortunately, that is why Davion was in the crossfire. He did mention he was trying to pull that emergency brake. But the part that was difficult for him was that Dom tried to grab the steering wheel while telling Kenzie to stop, but she was already putting her foot on the accelerator. And again, it was all premeditated in that sense as well. But I can go a little deeper with it as well. It's just kind of more of a sensitive topic. It's not that they're not going to other mediums and telling us what happened in the car. I think out of the nature of privacy in that way, that there are some things not being fully shared, especially with how I channel spirit and how I connect with loved ones who've passed away. I don't fully like to tap into those things, to keep it more in an ethical boundary, if that makes sense. But this is kind of what I can shed light on a little bit with what I hear from spirit. Hi, Desiree. From what I understand, when I connected with Davion and Dominic about their passings, was that it was instantaneous passing. The light pulse, his spirit and body were kind of in this weird shift, because he says that he saw his body while he was at the crash site too. So I'm also wondering if it could have been where the impact was so intense where his soul kind of split from physical body, but physical body and soul were still kind of attached, kind of think of a shifting glitch. I don't know how to describe it. But that's kind of what it looks like. Like he's being pulled back in, but also like wanting to be pulled back out. But there was no pain during this moment. Um, but it's kind of like an unconscious kind of thing. Hard to explain, but from what I understand, it was like an instantaneous passing. Well, thank you. For me, it helps with my accuracy and just being able to type everything out verbatim. Like, like I used to scribble and write like other mediums do with automatic writing, but how I started this work was through typing, and then I kind of evolved into paper pencil, and then I evolved back into typing. My very first channeled message was through typing, and I still have that document as well from the very first time that I've connected with Spirit. And when I type, it's such a easier flow because all I have to do is I just listen and I just let my hands type everything out. I get things verbatim, and it's really cool because when you get the notes or the document of the typed loved one connection, it's really cool because you can see and hear the personality of how your loved one speaks through typing, kind of like talking through text message. And so it's really, really cool to be able to type what I hear. And it's also very healing for me to be able to get what Spirit is truly saying in the emotional, impactful way. And with just how they want their messages to be said and channeled. And I'm able to just put that into the note, how they want it said and how they want it read. Yeah, it's a very beautiful process. I haven't seen any other mediums who do it this way, so I'm glad that I'm able to kind of tap into that niche of this type of mediumship to do automatic typing. So, thank you. So as a medium, like, I'm just sitting here, and the blatant narcissism, lack of remorse, no empathy, there's a lot of comparisons that, as I was watching this documentary, The Crash, it almost reminds me of, the Watts family. I haven't seen that documentary just because it's so heavy. I've seen a lot of clips and little videos about it. And I was able to channel the mom and one of the girls that did come through. And I have a typed document. I've just been so anxious about sharing it because I know it's such a heavy true crime story. But I see a lot of the comparisons where the mom and the girls are still haunting the husband, and they are really making his life like a living hell in his mind, and they're trying to really push him to a breaking point, and that's why throughout the documentary and a few clips I've seen, that's why you hear the mom's voice and the girls' voices too. It's not that they're trapped here in Earth Plane, but that they are trying to make their presence still known. And the same thing with Davion and Dominic. I saw a video where you can hear they killed us, and it's very interesting to just hear their voices. There is still pain there, and I think it's from not being able to talk to their family in the most accurate of ways. I don't know if the family has been to mediums or has looked into this as a healing modality, but if you guys see this or you know them, I would really recommend that a healing session would probably benefit them from any medium that they feel connected to. The boys, I could tell that there's still some pain there, and I think it's just from the quickness in which that they've passed away, and the heaviness and no time to really think about the aftermath of their passing, but that's kind of the most interesting parts I've noticed, is the really raw comparison of those two incidences. It's very unfortunate and very heavy as a medium to watch and listen to these stories. There's a handful, and that's why I don't watch true crime. Because when I watch true crime and like heavy documentaries, I enjoy them and I can watch them, But then I start to get like a tap on my shoulder feeling, and like I know that the loved one is present. And I know ethically, like I know I can close off and I can put up those protection boundaries and I can tell them to not come through. But sometimes those messages are just so heavy, and that the urgency of like a word vomit feeling, that's where it's like I know I need to relay the messages. And especially from an ethical standpoint too, like I know connecting with the families and getting consent on connecting with them too, but there has to be something there with spirit that as a medium gravitates spirit towards me to get those messages out, because that's how it is in the real world. When I trace a Caputo people, I really try not to, but when I trace Caputo people and I'm in the real world, it's the same exact feeling that I receive. It's like I get like an anxious in my chest, and I get like a left, so I channel on the left side, but I get like a left-sided feeling that someone's present with me as a medium, and then I know, oh shit, I need to channel. And I really try hard not to, because I know ethically it's not the safest. Or just, you want to be consensual with the family. But yeah, it's a trip, especially when I'm in public. I have Teresa Caputo to a handful of people, and I do relay messages a lot. I try my best to keep it inside, but, when a message is coming, you just gotta go. Funny puns when it comes to spirit. But yeah, those are the two comparisons. It's super interesting. Let me know if you want me to share the mom's channel that I have typed. It's about 2 pages long, so it's a pretty long channel.